Hello, my crafty friends. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to show you how to make this sympathy card. Now, of course, you could change the sentiment to make it any card you want, and you can use the basic layout with any other designer series paper to adapt it to your own. It's a great, simple layout, but I think it has a lot of impact. I think this paper lends itself to a sympathy card, and unfortunately, you know, that's one of those things that I need periodically. So I think that the sentiments and the paper just really worked well together, as well as the colors. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Linda Edwards. I'm with Crafty Heron Designs. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And if you see anything in this video that you would like to purchase, you can find everything on my online store. Stampin' Up, craftyherondesigns.stampinup.net or just craftyherondesigns.com. So I hope you'll stay with me till the end. I've got a couple of tips and tricks to show you as far as some of the stamping. So this is a pretty straightforward card. Let's get started with the measurements. The card base is crumb cake, and it is half of a sheet of regular 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So it is cut at 8.5 and by 5.5, and it is scored at 4 1/4. And I like this crumb cake. It's a really great neutral color, especially for fall. And then I have two pieces of, oh, this is a new color, and now I just drew a blank with me. Just drew a blank. Maple, no. Copper clay. Oh my goodness, copper clay. So the inside piece is just kind of your standard layer, and it is going to be 5 1/4 by 4. That's going to go on the inside. And then I have a scrap piece that we're going to use for the outside. And if you purchase the kit, you'll see that your scrap has a little bit of a cut in the corner so that you can tell it apart from the other one, because they're really close in size, so that you don't die cut the wrong size. And then there are two pieces of Very Vanilla, and these are 3.5 by 4 3/4. So one for inside, one for outside. And then we have the designer series paper, which is really the star of the show here. And this piece is cut at 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. But I'm going to show you a little trick with this when I show you the paper. And then the last thing I've got is just a little strip. This is 3/4 of an inch thick, or wide, I guess. And I just used, it's a scrap, so I've got it longer than I need. You'll see, you'll need it to be, it'll end up being about 2 1/4 inches, 2.5 inches. And you can see I just stamped it and then flagged it. So let me share with you the first thing is the designer series paper. This paper is gorgeous. This is the All About Autumn specialty designer series paper, and here's the piece that this one was cut from. And you can see that because I'm just going to use a small piece, I wanted to kind of decide where it was going to where I was going to cut it. So I'll talk about that in a minute. And then I wanted to show you this paper is gorgeous. Certainly could have done it with this piece. This is the piece that I used for this card. You can see I actually just cut it from this corner. This one was a little bit easier because I basically just cut 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. So I just used that left because I really liked the way this sun was shining through there, and I wanted to emphasize that. But I'll talk about how to use some of the other pieces. As I said, this one would be gorgeous too. Again, you might kind of center your cut. And then some of the others in here are really beautiful. The paper was on back order, but it is now back in stock. Some leather. The colors on this are amazing. It's kind of got a moody mauve color and the pink. The books, I think this is really cool. And look at that. Look at all that texture and color. And then this is kind of corduroy. But wait till you see the back. Oh my goodness. This is the specialty part. Look at that. Lots of gold accents on this paper. Just beautiful. And they work so well together. I really had a lot of fun with this. Look, see. Oh, that is really pretty together. This just stands on its own. Purple then, and look at the copper here. Oh my gosh, really, really gorgeous, gorgeous paper. So yeah, definitely have had a lot of fun with this. But let's get to talking about how I decided what I was going to do with that paper. Now I have to find, where did I put it? Okay. So a couple of things. I'm going to use this die to use the backing, the background. So I know it's a little bit bigger than what my piece is, but it kind of helped me to just eyeball a little bit where I wanted this to go. I ended up kind of just using this. This is part of the, oh gosh, what is the name of the dies? Radiating Stitches dies. They're available in the, they're online exclusive, but you'll see when I cut it out how pretty that is. But I used a die. You could use, you know, any of our dies, just in a similar kind of a size to the inside, and then you can kind of just eyeball it. And then I just decided, okay, I know I need this to be 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. So I kind of took my ruler. I really like to have, this is just a little 6-inch clear ruler, but it works really well. And I just kind of decided, okay, I know I want this to be 4 5/8. So, you know, where am I going to cut it in order to make that happen? So this one, I ended up cutting the off about, let's see, 2 inches from the left side. I cut the 2 inches, and then I knew that I needed 3 3/8 from there. So that means this side, cut 2 inches, put it in the trimmer, and then cut that to 3 3/8. And then I did the same thing. I need 4 5/8 total, but I knew I was gonna not come all the way to the top. So I thought, well, I'll cut about a 1/2 inch off the top, and then from there, I put it in and cut to my 4 5/8. So I hope that that makes sense for you, and you can do you know, whatever you like as far as this piece goes. But that was kind of where it ended up coming off. So like you say, there's about 2 inches from there, about 1/4 or 1/2 inch from the top, and then the others just were cut accordingly. So let's go ahead and get started. So I think the first thing we'll do is go ahead and bring in the trimmer, and this is the stitched die, and I'm going to just bring that in and cut that out. And I do need to use the big cut and emboss machine for this die because it is kind of wide. I can't use the mini. And you just got my plates, my 1, 2, and 3 plates. And then when I put this through, I'm going to turn it a little bit on an angle so that it's not parallel with the rollers. I'll get a better cut that way. And it also puts a little less pressure on my machine. So get that started. My bottom plate is a little warped, so I have to be careful when I come through. There we go. And there we go, all the way through. And this works beautifully. I don't need to add any additional shims or anything in there. Sometimes when you've got a really detailed die, you need to go back and forth once or twice. But you can see that's that. So I'm going to bring in the other pieces. And I think we'll go ahead and do our stamping next. I'm using Early Espresso and the With Deepest Sympathy. And this is a cling stamp. It already has its foam in it, so I don't need to bring in the Stampin' Pierce Matte. Very light tap, especially with the cling stamp, so that you don't get ink all the way around the outside. And then I'm going to just basically center that top to bottom. And there we go. There's that one. And then the inside, one of the inside pieces, let's move that over. I'm going to keep it clean and simple. I'm not going to do a lot of decorating. I think with a sympathy card, just doesn't really lend itself to doing too much. So I keep looking at that, just making sure. Let's bring in a scrap and test that a minute, because it looks a little bit like it's got a lot on the outside and not as much on the inside. So I want to test that. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so let's ink that up again. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. That's better. And then I'm going to just bring this in here, and good. That's it. That's all the stamping. As I said, this one's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but I think it has a lot of interest. So now I'm going to just assemble the card. I'm going to put, this is on the inside, so let's go ahead and put this one down first. And this copper clay. And I just wanted another layer to give the card a little more heft. I like to have, you know, I think one of the things that sets our papers apart is their, of course, the way they all coordinate color, but also the thickness of the cards is really nice. So it's got some weight, you know, in your hands. And then I'm going to put this one on, and this is important. I'm not going to put adhesive in those holes, right? This die does leave some little holes, so you want to be a little bit careful in where you put your adhesive. It's not horrible if you put it on the end, because a lot of it's covered up. But just a little tip there for you with these dies. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one together with this. And before I attach it, I'm going to run the ribbon around the outside. So you can see this is a pretty tight squeeze. I just felt like I really wanted, it kind of gets lost without the Very Vanilla. I feel like that Very Vanilla just, it's a nice warm color, and it just creates a little more interest there. So, and it also kind of coordinates with the sentiment that we're using. The paper for the sentiment, I guess. So, you know, it's nice to have these cards on hand. You know, deaths will most often come unexpectedly, and we hate to even need them, but they are a fact of life, unfortunately. So I do find that it's nice to have. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this around the back. This is our, this is the ribbon that comes in the suite, and there are two ribbons that come. This is the natural ribbon. The other one is, it's called the Natural Ribbon and Copper Combo Pack. Just kind of cut that end off a little bit. It's a really nice, soft, flexible ribbon, and I think it makes a nice layer. A lot of great texture for this card. I'm going to go ahead and use, I like to use glue dots with my ribbons. And because this one's kind of thick, I am going to put, I don't know if there's a front and a back, but I'm going to go ahead and put these two here. And then I want it kind of low, I think. I want to be able to see the road above and below it. So I'll kind of have it kind of low and just wrap that around. Now, because I'm going to have the sentiment on top of it, I feel like I could easily put more glue dots here. And what I'm going to do is, I wasn't sure exactly how long I wanted it, so let me cut it now. And then I'm going to cut off the end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half. Do I want it that long? I think I want it a little bit shorter. Let's just go a little bit shorter. Okay, then I'm going to fold it in half. My long ends are on the outside, and I'm going to go ahead and cut my little end there. There we go. That's nice, because then you can see the path like that. And then before I attach it, I do want this end to be well, I'm going to cut this end first. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that about there. And I'm kind of just looking at it. I know I want all of my words to be seen. Obviously I don't want it to go too far over, but I am going to end up trimming this end, but I'm going to wait and trim that last. I want to trim this end first to make sure that I've got enough there. So I kind of just eyeballed it. I think I'm going to want it about there. I'm going to cut the center there. And I'm actually going to cut some of that off. So I can see there where that edge is. And then I cut there and there. All right, let's see how that looks. Yes, ooh, I was a little close, wasn't I? But that's okay. I can cut this end off now. It's not perfectly straight, so let me just, there we go. Okay, so now I will bring in my glue dots and attach this ribbon. And then I'm actually just going to attach this with, I want to make that smaller. It's too close to the end. So I'm going to just go a little bit, and I'm just kind of going parallel to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. That's better. So I can see more of the ribbon there, and I could even go smaller. You know what I just don't want to be is on quite of an angle. So you kind of just, as you can see, you can kind of just play with it, right? There we go. There we go. I'm happier with that now. I kind of like having a little bit of the ribbon showing here behind that. So now I'm going to just glue this down, and I could either use glue dots or I could use liquid glue. So let's try it with the liquid glue. Ugh, liquid glue is a little sticky. The tip is sticky. There we go. And it will, if it comes out. I don't mind if it oozes into behind the ribbon, because that will help the ribbon to stay on as well. And you see I'm kind of lining this side up over here. There we go. Okay, and now they're just, I'm almost done. We're almost at the end. One other little trick I want to do is I want this to be raised. This whole thing is going to be raised up, which is why I didn't raise this part. But what I want, you can either use your regular dimensionals, and this is a good use for like the edges of your dimensionals. But this is where I really like to use our foam adhesive sheets. This is like a giant piece of dimensional, but it's not pre-cut, as you can see. So it really gives a lot of nice, again, that heft, that thickness to the card. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it. These are Teflon scissors. I like these because they're long. I don't want to get any sticky stuff on my trimmer, although it probably would be fine. I mean, it really doesn't get sticky. But I feel like this is something I really like to have on hand, and I'm going to, for this kind of purpose. The card is fairly simple. There's not a lot of detail to it. There's a lot of texture, which I really like. And I think that's kind of the star of the show here, is just a lot of texture. And so adding that thick piece underneath it really continues that whole concept of the texture. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, these are the bronze. These are the, let me see, Neutrals Adhesive-Backed Sequins. And you can see they come in gold, silver, copper, and bronze. And you can see I've used a lot of the copper and the bronze. And I think, well, maybe I want the gold in this one, huh? I think maybe I'll use the gold. It'll be a little bit brighter. Or use copper. Now I feel like, well, maybe the copper. That's what I'm going to use, is the copper. So depending on your background paper, you would want to make an adjustment and use either the copper or the or the bronze or, you know, some other kind of adhesive. Come on. There we go. There. And now a smaller one. I think I'm going to just put it there. There we go. And I think just the two. Just a little something subtle and of interest. And I'll bring in the other one, and let me know in the comments if you have a preference for the, you know, the sun shining through or just the path. I think both of them lend themselves really well to a sympathy card, and I hope you agree. If you like what you see, and give me a thumbs up would be wonderful. And if you would like to see more samples of the cards that I make, more tutorials, I try to be here every week and a half or so. I try to upload a video on YouTube and on Facebook. So follow me and you will be notified of when I upload the videos. And if you are in the Greensboro area, I would love to have you come to one of my in-person card classes. I hold them once or twice a month, depending on the month. And I also have all of the tutorials available for purchase. Just visit me, send me a Facebook Messenger, or visit me on my website, or shoot me an email. In the meantime, have a happy day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.